And we are live. Welcome to the Rinky Dink Bullshit Podcast of the Nice Game Podcast, Season 2, Episode 21. With your host, with your most, the Nice Game Podcast God, Superfly Johnny Lee. And tonight we got a very special show because tonight I am joined by the one, the only Pitbull Omega.
What's good, y'all? What's good?
What's up, brother?
It's all good, Johnny. Good to be here, fam.
It's always good to have you in.
Always a pleasure to be here, bro. Always, always.
Man, you were the EWA champion. I just got to ask, how do you feel about what Bobby Blade did?
That was some bullshit.
It was. Because...
Bobby Blade, think he's slick, man. That's some bullshit, though.
Exactly, because you had the match won. We could see that. You had Jordan Cage dead to rights, passed out. If he had been awake, he would have been tapping out. Exactly. But him being passed out meant that you were going to be the champion. And what does Bobby Blade do? He gets in there with that damn chain and decides he's going to help Jordan Cage out. Hit you once, and that's the only reason why Jordan Cage won, because he was on top of you, passed out.
Jordan Cage is an OG. You know, Jordan Cage, one of the best, most talented men, you know, in the Midwest, one of the most talented men in the country, has been for a very long time. We all know that and never take that away from him. But that was not his night. That was my night, and it was stolen from me by Bobby Blade. You know,
it was. And I know it.
Facts, and that should have been mine. That was my night.
Exactly, because you had him dead to rights. Because there ain't no way that he would have won, because you had him passed out. 1, 2, 3 could have happened. You had him asleep. He was not awake. And he needed help from his buddy, his best buddy in the whole wide world, Bobby Blade, just to get the win.
Exactly.
Now, the only reason why he got that win is because it feels like it was an orchestrated plan to get the title off of you. Because think about it. For months now, we've had Benjamin Sheeran as the commissioner because they took out Berto. I'm here to say I feel like that's what happened. Because if you watched a couple of months ago, there's a video out, and Bobby Blade and Jordan Cage were acting awfully suspicious when they were talking about, yeah, you paid me to do this. And we ain't seen Berto since that time.
You can't let people be great for too long. It was the same way with Berto. Berto was too good for too long. It's the same way with myself. You can't let greatness stay too great for too long. Eventually, people start getting nervous. You know, same thing happened with Berto. The same thing happened with myself. The same thing happens, everywhere you go, in and out of wrestling, in business, in people's personal lives. You can't let somebody be too good for too long.
Exactly. And that's why it felt like they needed to get the title off you, because they felt like they're better than everyone else.
Exactly.
And now Bobby Blade, Ben Sheeran, and Jordan Cage have the title. But here's the thing. Does that make them a great champion?
Absolutely
not. Only time will tell.
Nah, man, we can run it back anytime they want to.
Exactly, because they didn't get the title fair and square, that's for sure.
Nah.
You had that match won twice.
I need a rematch.
Exactly. And I'd like to see it, because you two, before that whole shenanigans happened, were tearing the house down.
Oh, yeah.
Like, the fans were absolutely loving it. And I'd like to see more of you from XEF as well, because the first time I saw you at XEF, people want to see a badass match, go to XEF and check out Omega. Because he'll show you things that's different from what he does here in Kentucky.
Absolutely. XCF, Jeffersonville, Indiana. Absolutely awesome show. Shout out to them. Absolutely loaded roster. Absolutely loaded shows. You know, myself, the Iron Demon, Shane Mercer. You know, OVW star, Big Zoe. Just Congo Kong. You know, Greg the Ham. Like, it's absolutely loaded roster, man. Always a good time. Always a good show.
Yeah, it is. And when we went to Paradigm Pro Wrestling, we saw you and Isaiah teaming up. That's a badass hardcore match that y'all had.
Man, that's the end game. You know, High's been big bruh since the very first day we met. And, it was one of those things that was like solidified when Pops retired. You know, when Vic stepped down, when he, you know, went to go take a step back at the time. When he left his boots in the ring, he left a charge to Isaiah. He called High up to the ring. Y'all was there that night.
Yep.
Yeah. He calls High up to the ring, and he made the proclamation right there in front of the entire world. It was like, this man is next in line. Those of you all who followed my lead, you now follow him. Those of you all who follow my direction, you now follow him. He is now your standard. He is now your go-to, especially as it pertains to, you know, young black talent in the area.
Yeah.
You know, we followed Vic. Vic left the charge to High. High was now, I call High Master Splinter. He doesn't want to be Master Splinter. You know, he's like, man, can I just be Variant Shredder? I was like, you know what, that works too. Yeah. So, you know,
that's true.
Variant Shredder. But from that point, you know, whether it was wrestling, whether it was, you know, our personal lives, whether it was, you know, certain professional endeavors, you know, outside of the wrestling world, High led the charge on it. So actually getting to team up with him for the first time, it was dope, man.
Heck yeah, it was. Like watching it in person, that was something else. Like y'all was tearing the house down.
Man, he hit the Ninja Vanish with the chair. Like that was, it's one of those clips that'll randomly go viral. He did it in CZW years ago, and like when we teamed up for the match, he was like, "Hey man, you know what you got to do." He's like, "Ah shit." I was like, "Come on, you know what you got to do tonight." He's
yes.
Like, I don't know. It's just like, nah. You do know. You're doing this. You're doing this, player. You're doing it.
Exactly. And him hitting that was a stroke of genius, too, because it looked so beautiful.
Man.
I tell you what, though.
Brother just glides like a bird when he did. It's pretty. It's such a pretty fucking move when he does it.
It is.
It just gets the perfect rotation on it.
First time I saw him was in OVW. And that was back in 2021 before I ever joined the podcast. Me and Sean, my cousin, we go there. Isaiah's part of the brutality group with
LOB,
with
Legacy of Brutality.
Ashcraft. Yep.
Man, nah, as LOB, in or out of wrestling ring, LOB is some of the baddest, just I respect the hell out of LOB. LOB are the men that most men think they are.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, you know, obviously my relationship with High, you know, is well documented. Cash Flow was one of my OGs. Cash is somebody that I get a lot of inspiration from, somebody that, you know, has helped coach me in certain locker rooms we've been in. Big Zoe. Zoe is...
Great guy.
Man, Zoe is the man that I strive to be. This is a brother who's well-educated, well-versed. He's a family man. He's an incredible athlete. Zoe is the kind of man that I strive to be and that I want to be. You know, just all of LOB. LOB are locker room leaders. They're life leaders. They're wrestling leaders. Like, I mean, dudes is incredible.
That's right. Because that's the first time I saw him, and I was impressed by Isaiah the first time. And ever since then, it's like every time I see him, he's improved even more than that. And like Josh Ashcraft said when he was sitting right there inside that chair, he said, even if the legacy of brutality isn't right now together, they all have each other's back.
Oh, yeah.
I believe that 100.
Absolutely.
And that's what it's all about. In this business, you make friends along the way that become your camaraderies for the rest of your life.
You see one of them, you know one of them's nearby. Or at least on standby. Even if one of them ain't in the building, like you see one, there's another one on standby somewhere. They coming.
Exactly.
They are easily accessible.
Exactly.
Like, nah, LOB.
Like you built your legacy for years now. People gotta understand, you're the baddest man when you're inside that house. Like, you may not be champion at this moment, but you guarantee that if you were to be put up against any one of their top guys, my money's on you.
I appreciate that, John. That's what I'm talking about. But now, man, I came from a legacy and a dynasty of bad men. I have no choice but to be a bad man.
That's right.
You know, I was the product of, you know, the Vic the Bruisers of the world. I can't even say the Vic the Bruisers of the world. There is one Vic the Bruiser. You know, I was a child and a student of Vic the Bruiser. I learned from the Larry D's of the world. I got to spend time with Larry. I got to spend time with Tracy. I spend time with High. I spend time with Cash. Like, I came from bad men. I learned under bad men. Zodiac, Flash Flanagan, the American kickboxer. Like, I come from a lineage of the baddest motherfuckers walking. I can't be anything less than that.
That's right.
When you walk in your purpose and you're walking, when you walk in the shadow of giants, you either vanish or you are forced to evolve into a giant yourself. I can't half step anything I do. I have nightmares sometimes that I'm in a match and I go to throw a clothesline and it doesn't hit right. Or I go to throw a chop and it doesn't make any noise.
Yeah.
Like, those are nightmare scenarios.
Yeah, they are.
I have to be a bad man. I don't have any other choice. It is too deep in me of who I am.
Oh, look, this Eric Montgomery has something for you.
Oh, Lord. Eric Montgomery always got something to say. What's he want?
He said, man, who let this old man named Omega onto the show? We all know he can't read. Haha, just kidding. Love you, brother.
Eric Montgomery's like 3 times my age, though, so how am I the old man?
And Savion said, facts.
What up, Savion? Sav, you still on here? Man, I'll tell y'all what. Shout out to the homie big time, Savion Truitt. Savion is one of the most talented brothers I've ever met in my life.
That's right.
I mentioned earlier that, you know, Zoe's the kind of man that I strive to be. Savion is, I've told brother a million times, like, I want to be the kind of guy that Savion is as well, because the brother's just so well put together. You know, his what he's accomplished already in his wrestling career is fucking uncanny. But in his regular life, his professional life, you know, the man stands on business 24/7. He presents himself extremely well. He markets himself extremely well. He carries himself with the kind of class and respect that, I mean, most of us would only be so lucky to be able to know. You know,
That's
Savion, incredible guy, incredible man. Shout out to the homie.
And DJ said this about you, too. He said, just don't have Omega wrestle women, as he'll try to get a riot started.
Okay, no, that's real. I've only ever done two now. I've done 2 now because I wrestle Mickey Knuckles.
Nice.
Yeah. But my first ever intergender match, there were a number of them that I've wanted to do, like, since I started. I've wanted to work Maria. I've wanted to work Mickey since I first broke in. Me and her finally got to wrestle like a year or 2 ago. But I was like 6 or 7 years in before I got to do my first intergender match. And it was against Kenzie Page.
Nice.
NWA.
Yep.
NWA Women's Champion. Still, I think. Like, I mean,
yeah, I think that she is.
Just an absolute terror in the NWA, you know. And man, woman, anything. One of the, I mean, toughest competitors I've ever been in the ring with. I've been in the ring with some of the baddest humans alive. And Kenzie Page could hold her own against anybody. But I went out. I was working. I was healed at night, and you know, I go out and I grab the microphone and I'm just talking to the people. You know, we just talking, we just having a conversation.
That's right.
And the people didn't like what I had to say that night. We damn near started a riot. You know, it was for you know, the promotion Girl Fight, and the name of the show was Gender Wars, because they were all like, you know, they're all intergender matches, and we almost started an actual gender war. You know.
Hey.
Chucky Smooth.
Yep.
Oh, the Chucky Smooth.
Yep.
I've never actually met Chucky Smooth to the best of my knowledge, but I hear people say great things about him all the time. So, like, one of these days, I'd absolutely love to.
He said, I'm tuning in late, but was he trained by Vic? Yes, he was, brother. And he said, we'll be mind. He just answered the question. He said, well, he basically said, well, never mind. He said he basically answered the question. And then Eric said, don't forget, Showtime Apollo Garvin,
Absolutely.
a.k.a. Mary Apollo.
Showtime Apollo Garvin, JB, Lennox Norris, you know, all guys that had a hand in early development. Simon Says, Chris Chaos. I was lucky, man. I had a lot of, you know, Vivacious Van Mardigan. I had a lot of people early on who took interest in helping me learn and helping me get better, you know, and help me get my footing. Ronnie Roberts, Maria, Mickey Knuckles, James Carver. You know, I've been fortunate. I've been very, very fortunate with some of the people that I've gotten to spend time with. You know, I got to spend some time with Tracy before he passed. You know,
God bless his soul.
Absolutely. You know, I have for a while Tennessee damn near became a second home, and I would work for Burt Prentice down in Southern Tennessee. And when I would go down there, he would have like a lot of the old school Mid-South legends come through. And, you know, if you could get, I would just ear hustle. Like I would listen to like what was being said, like with some of the other guys. And if you ever had a chance to even just take like 5 minutes and, you know, just sit down and talk to one of them, you know, Bill Dundee would come down, Dangerous Doug Gilbert, Pork Chop Cash, you know, Wildfire Tommy Rich. So like just this wealth of knowledge that we were around all the time. You know, again, we were just very, very fortunate.
And that's very valuable knowledge too, because you're sitting underneath their learning tree.
Absolutely.
And Jacob Ratliff said, "What's up, Omega?"
What up, Jacob? Man, yeah, you won't talk. Y'all won't talk about a bad motherfucker. Jacob,
yes, he is.
Jacob Ratliff, bad man, boy.
Yes, he is. And Savion said, "Omega the truth." And then we got Savion saying, "Big respect. Definitely one of the baddest motherfuckers I've shared the ring with. Whether as partners, rivals, or promo battle, Omega the truth."
Man, I'll tell y'all what, me and Savion have seen a little bit of the country together. You know, this is somebody I done had some adventures and some stories with. You know, we when I first started going down to Texas and working for Sir Mo's OIWA down in Texas, like, you know, Savion was originally with us on like those trips, and you know, we went to Texas. We went to, you know, when I started doing twice a year, I helped put together the wrestling portion of a wrestling show at a biker rally out in Illinois, you know, called Hog Rock. And like, man, I'm pretty sure we would get banned and demonetized if we started like talking too in depth about like what goes on at Hog Rock. But man, it's like if Mad Max and Project X like existed in the same universe. Like,
I can imagine that.
Oh, dude, it's something. And Savion was there for the first couple of rounds of that. And I mean, me and Savion been around the block a couple times. It's always a good time.
Nice.
Always a good time.
Maddie Fields said, "Hi, Omega."
What up, Maddie? How you doing, girl?
And the man there said, "One thing is for sure. Omega talks, everyone listens. Man has a true talent on and off the mic." That's true.
See, she trying to butter me up though. What's that? Amelia Annalisa. That's my baby right there. That's my girl. She's trying to speak positively of her man. And I appreciate that, girl.
But it is kind of true though, because being there at the All-Star Classic, when you had that microphone, everyone was hooked. I saw fans just listen to what you were saying. You had them eating out the palm of your hand.
Man, one thing that my mom taught me when I was in like the 5th grade, because my mom used to do a lot of work with these different community-based projects through local metro government. They used to work very closely with LMPD. We used to work closely with the mayor's office. We worked very, very closely with Jerry Abramson himself. So a lot of the things we did got press coverage. Yeah. And one of the things my mom used to always tell us is my earliest media training didn't come from wrestling. It came from my mama. One of the things she used to always tell us was, if somebody puts a microphone or a recorder or a camera in your face, you better have something to say, because they only have to look your way one time. When you get their attention, you better have something to say to keep it, because they never have to look your way again and they never have to listen again. So you put me in front of a camera, you put a microphone in my hand, I treat it every single time as if that's the only opportunity I'm ever going to get. Because it very well may be. If I go out there and I look stupid, or you hand me a microphone and I sound goofy and I don't know what to say, I ain't never gonna have that opportunity again.
That's right.
You know, the lovely young lady who commented right there, Miss Amelia, one of the sayings that she often says, you stay ready, you ain't gotta get ready.
That's right.
So you give me a microphone, I'm gonna rock it every single time as if I ain't never gonna see that thing again.
Exactly, because You're one of the best talkers that I've seen on the independent scene. Every time you have had the mic, you made it mean something. You made it worth something. You and Zodiac have went to wars together. And, man, I gotta tell you, you and Evil Nate, mic for mic, I'd like to see it some more.
Man, those were always fun matches, too. I always love when I get a chance to work Zodi. I've worked Nate a couple times. That was always fun. This match right here was a lot of fun. Like, for those of y'all, I mean, y'all can't see.
Y'all can't see it, but we can tell you about it.
We watching Paradigm's What Becomes of the Broken Hearted from last June, and this was my match with Ron Mathis, where like I actually first won the Paradigm Heavy Hitters title. Like his whole match went ham. Like we beat the hell out of each other all the way around the building. You know, he busted me wide right there, shot right there.
Yep.
You know, split me straight the fuck open.
He's bleeding, you're bleeding.
Oh man, I felt this match for like the next 3 months. Like after this, like
I believe it because a hardcore match once you have it, there ain't no way that you're not gonna be feeling it afterwards.
Man.
Cause y'all are taking weapons to each other, y'all are beating the hell out of each other with your fists, your knees, your kicks, everything.
Man, shout out to the homie Lord Crew. I have never experienced anything in my life like the finals of the Paradigm Fighting Spirit tournament last year. Crew gave me a leg kick.
Oh shit!
That almost it shut my body down. Like he kicked me in my leg and my body did a soft reboot. Like
man,
my God! Like I fell and the ref started the 10 count and I was like, man, this might be it, y'all. I don't know if I get like it. He kicked the head. I've been fortunate to know some bad men. I've been fortunate to know some just absolutely brutal humans. Lord Crew is vicious, man. He hasn't earned every single bit of his reputation. I mean, dude is a straight up killer. You know, everything he's done, you know, over here stateside. Last year he went over and tore it up in Japan. And
he did.
I have no doubt that he was, you know, a huge hit over there. Crew is the truth.
Yes, he is.
Everybody walking around, you know, talking about anybody who walks around, you know, talk about being the meanest, talk about being the baddest. They ain't never met Crew.
Fiji Wildman said, Omega, we need to trade hands soon.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Fiji, you know, Fiji knows he can get it anytime he wants to.
That's right.
With it. Fiji, we ain't had one in a minute. Run it back.
And Mayfield said, Mama says hi too.
What up, Mama? How you doing?
She also said, Lori Turner is vicious.
Oh, man.
Caitlin says, soft reboot, laugh out loud.
What's up, baby sister? How you doing? That's my little sister, man. I know.
Heck yeah, shout out to her. But that pretty much tells you right there, Lord Crew, don't knock him. The man has a strong-ass kick for it to soft reboot a man like Omega.
So, like, even when I did MMA, like, you know, I took some hellified kicks. You know, a lot of people don't understand what getting kicked in the head actually feels like.
Yeah.
Like, it's you can't fully make somebody appreciate a head kick until they've experienced a head kick. But like in wrestling, 3 of the most vicious kicks I've ever felt, one of them was that kick from Lord Crew. Like I said, it temporarily shut my body down. Like that shit was disabling. My second ever match in Paradigm, I fought Tom Lawler.
Yeah.
Me and Filthy Tom Lawler went to war with each other. My favorite match that I personally would call that not only Paradigm's match of the year. I would dare anybody to show me any match on the Indies, and I think that match holds up against it. Like I literally get cold chills still thinking about that one. But there was one point where he kicks me in my chest, and I rethought every single life decision that I've ever made. You know, I remember that I'm on my knee. He just kissed me. I was just bow, and I stepped up. I was like, And in my brain, I'm like, yo, I could get up and just walk away right now. And can't nobody tell me otherwise. Like, it can't be in my chest. I'm like, God damn. Oh, my God. No,
I believe it too, because Tom Lawler's a former UFC fighter too.
Oh, yeah, man. Lawler's a bad man. And somebody you wouldn't think about throwing a lot of kicks. But I got kicked in the back one time by Larry D.
Oh.
Larry's legs are like trees, man. So he loads back. He gets me on the ground with a snapmare, and he takes that leg back. Pow! Oh. And, man, you could have heard it from down the block.
Yeah.
That was the one, man.
And that was a classic, too. The snapmare followed by the kick to the back.
Oh, yeah. Nah, Larry's a monster.
He is.
Larry, and again, Larry's somebody else that, especially in my early days, I was very, very fortunate to be able to spend some time with and be able to learn under. Larry's a great mind. Or he has a great mind for the business.
He is. And he's also a former NWA guy.
NWA, Impact. I mean,
Jake Ratliff said, Omega D is the Samoa Joe to my Necro Butcher. I love our matches because I can relax and swing without holding back. You are my favorite opponent.
Jacob, I appreciate the hell out of that, man. Any match with Jacob, it's always fun. It's always easy. We just look at each other like, go out there and beat the hell out of each other. Yeah, I bet.
That's right. And Savion Truitt said, it's true. Lost my voice at that Tom Lawler match.
Man, So a bunch of the homies from Cincy went to that match. My girl, it was the very first time she'd ever gotten to see me wrestle.
Yeah.
We weren't even dating yet at the time. But that was the first time she had gotten a chance to see me wrestle, and it was an awesome experience. It was really cool to be able to look out and see so many people that, had come, to be able to see it. Especially the homies from Cincinnati, 2 hours, to see that match. And they're all sitting right there in the front row. Everybody's recording. They all hooping and hollering. Every time anything can happen, I've got, my homies on this side and my family down on this side. And, I could, vividly, hear and feel, the reactions, from my friends and my family. And it was, the coolest thing in the world. Matter of fact, Savion, I think I specifically looked you dead in your eyes when I got that kick from Tom Lawler. Because literally, he loads back and kicks me in the chest, just bow. And, I looked up at Savion when it happened. And he's looking at me, he's like, I can see it in his eyes. He's like, you good? I'm like... Man, and there's that Impala again.
Yep. And this time on to the chair. See, that can be definitely a finisher.
Man, that was a good night.
Jake Velazquez said, Paradigm was special. I loved my time there. And Amelia said, the Tom Lawler match. My first ever match of Omega D. I got to see and experience in person. That's right.
And I mean, that was a hell of a match to be able to be her first. For that to have been the first match that somebody got to see of mine, that's incredible.
And it also gives her first impression of who Omega D is in the ring.
See, but that sets a hellified expectation. I mean, I went against one of the toughest humans in the fucking world.
Yep.
In the very, very first match that she got to see. At that point, I can't fall any less than that. That was the intro. That's
exactly.
Goddamn it, that's the expectation. You expect me to go to war with dudes like it's 24/7.
Yeah, because now you have to do it 24/7 for sure. I mean, you've done it at the Paradigm that we went to, where you and Jose were teamed up together. There's a hellacious match that all of y'all had.
All the matches that I've had at Paradigm so far were absolute war. Very first one I did was against Dustin Leonard, who, if I'm not mistaken, is a black belt in jiu-jitsu. I have my background in Muay Thai. So the two of us went out and did war with each other. After that, I've got Tom Lawler. Me and him beat the living hell out of each other. After that, was the Fighting Spirit Grand Prix.
Nice.
I had to go through Mad Dog Austin Conley, who, man, pound for pound, probably one of the strongest people I've ever met. Like, he dogged me for the first half of that match, man. He incredible wrestler. That's one that I'll run back any day of the week. Like, I would love to wrestle Austin Conley again. But in the same night, I had to beat Austin Conley. I had to beat Suge D, one of the OGs of the South. Man, incredible wrestler. Was very fortunate on that one. And then after that, my reward is having to wrestle Lord Crew. Again, they just do not come any tougher than Crew, man. And, we go to war with each other. My reward for that, fatal 4-way match. It's me, Troy Parker, actually, hold up. Whoop, I can't count. It's me, Troy Parker, Max Zero, and Derek Neal. So it's what, 5?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, again, some of the baddest motherfuckers on the face of this planet. Derek Neal. Shout out to Derek Neal.
Yes.
Because, man, Derek's incredible. Derek's one of those guys that I think we all know that there is an immense amount of talent on the independent scene, that should have, could have, would have been signed. We can all probably name 5 people on top of our heads right now who deserve to be signed somewhere.
Yep.
Derek Neal has been such a phenomenal talent and representation of wrestling in Kentucky for so long that it is still mind-blowing to me that Derek never got signed to one of the big 3-letter companies. It is criminal. Derek should have been in the WWE, ECW, TNA, NWA, every other A million times over. Because they do not get better than Derek.
Exactly.
Derek's fucking phenomenal, man.
As is Troy Parker, who was also in that match.
Oh, yeah.
The man has impressed me since the first time I saw him at New South. And the fact that he had a match with Shane Mercer. The Shane Mercer, who also has been touring in Japan and tearing it up.
I made a joke to Troy one time that the entire Midwest scene should count their lucky stars. That me and Troy have never teamed up together. Because, man, that would just be ugly. That'd
be another great team right there.
Pray for any 2 people that they would put in the ring opposite of me and Troy. And no, Shane's incredible. Shane's unreal. Like, Shane lives in a different plane of existence than the rest of us. Like, it's the running joke with a lot of that's exactly what I told you earlier, man.
Yep.
Shane is a T-1000 that occasionally forgets he's supposed to be acting like a human.
I believe it, because if you watch him whenever he's not wrestling, he makes a bit of slip up that he's not a T-1000.
Shane is unhuman. And I mean, obviously the strength is one thing, his ability to just pick people up and throw them and just yeet people, across the world. Like, that's one thing. But his sheer athleticism, I think people understand the strength aspect of, like, the moonsault and battery.
Yep.
I don't think people understand the amount of athleticism,
the
vertical leap ability, the flexibility, the balance, the stamina that you have to be able to do the things that he does. It's more than just brute strength. Man, Shane Mercer exists in a different plane of existence. It's crazy.
And he must be doing something right, because his move keeps on ending up everywhere, and they keep shouting him out.
Man, Shane's product has just touched every single corner of the wrestling world. You see Shane's stuff everywhere. And I'm glad that enough people have made the association of it with Shane that it's not just out there existing as its own thing. It's like, nah, man, give that man his credit. That Shane, like, nah.
One of the best ones that's done it recently was LFG Girl Bailey. When she did his move, she gave the shout to the Iron Demon.
Yeah.
And that was pretty damn cool, because someone was, for some reason, trying to make a big deal, and Shane's like, nah, she gave me credit. That's all I asked for.
Hearing Shane get name dropped by Michael Cole on Monday Night Raw was surreal, man.
Same.
Like, that was awesome.
Same.
That was awesome, man. I was so happy for him.
But look at this. We got more comments.
Oh, Justin Morris.
Yep, he said, I know a guy who was around for the beginning of Omega. That's right, J-Mo.
J-Mo was another of them, man. Like, J-Mo.
Wait a second.
J-Mo was in one of my... J-Mo was the first person I ever pinned. First person I ever pinned the wrestle match was Jesse Morris.
Nice.
Man.
And we've had J-Mo in here, and he told us his story, and
I love Jesse.
It's one of the best stories I've heard because it's true. He was a fighter.
Yeah. Nah, man, I love Jesse. I love his wife. Like, both of them. Awesome people.
And still, Wool must have gotten to this guy because Justin Daniel Hickerson said, I hate Omega.
I honestly don't know which one of them hate me more. It could have been Steel Wool. It could have been Justin. Like, they hate me. They both hate me equally. So, like, one could have been either one.
That's true.
I don't know, man.
A part of me feels like Steel Wool's been getting to that guy's head, though, lately. Jack Wright said, I loved working Dustin Leonard. Missed that guy dearly.
Man, Dustin was incredible. He's a great grappler, great technician. Like, Dustin was a lot of fun to work with.
That's right. And Justin Daniel Hickerson said, Dr. Feelgood chops harder than Omega.
Yeah, there ain't no way that was Steel Wool. That one's just Justin. Like, that's, man, which way's the camp? You ain't funny, bro. You ain't funny. We don't talk about them days no more, Justin.
That was definitely Justin.
Oh Lord, that was in the dark days. That was the before times when I wasn't allowed to be Omega yet. This back when I used to wear a black lucha demon mask and scrubs, and they called me Dr. Feelgood. Oh, it was dark days, brother. It was dark days. Oof.
But as soon as you got out of that, you became Omega the Pitbull.
Absolutely.
And you and Zodiac had the wars in KPW because the last time that you and him fought each other in that show is for mask versus mask respect. And that was awesome.
Man, Zodi, anytime I've ever been able to get in the ring with Zodi, like, it's always been incredible. Like, we've always had great match chemistry. Zodi's another one of those guys that I've been very fortunate to be able to learn from, even when he didn't know that I was. You know, I ear hustle constantly. Like, that's what I do. If I'm in the locker room, I'm ear hustling. I want to hear what, a lot of the other guys have to say about certain things. And there's so much good knowledge that you can absorb literally just by listening. Situations where I've been very fortunate to share locker rooms with very, very knowledgeable men. So every once in a while I sit down and, I find myself just sort of scooting a little bit closer to, where certain people are talking. It's like, you ain't talking directly to me right now, but what you saying applies. Like,
that's right.
Speak up a little bit louder,
I don't know why there's not other people that do that, because there's never not a good time to get some lessons learned.
Exactly.
Because you can be hearing a veteran talk to someone else, and you could be applying to what he's saying to that person to what you're learning.
Exactly.
Because that's one of the things that they want you to learn. You want to be underneath someone's learning tree. That's one of the best ways. Even if you're not sitting directly underneath it, you're still picking it up because you got your ears open, mouth shut.
Oh, man. Y'all got viewership all the way out in Colorado.
Hell yeah, we do.
All right.
What's up, Maggie? That's also Big Beard Dudley's mom.
Okay. Y'all got some serious reach out here. That's what I'm talking about.
Yep.
Good stuff, man. Good stuff.
That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
And then Justin said, and drinking a PBR while doing it. I think that he's trying to bring back the old memories that give you nightmares. But looking on the screen here, you won that title in a badass match. And no better way to do it than having Isaiah come out there for you.
Exactly. That was a moment, man. That was one thing about Paradigm. Paradigm has given me some very, very, very incredible moments. My first match at Paradigm, like the way the match went down, the way the finish went down, was just so organically beautiful. And I mean, even just the fact that I was there, I never thought that I would be wanted in a company like Paradigm. So the fact that I was brought in and the fact that I got the reception that I did felt incredible, and it felt like very much like a full circle moment. winning the Grand Prix tournament last year was this ultimate payoff of every self-doubt damn near that I had ever had in myself about certain things. And then, like, to win the title in New Albany, New Albany, Indiana's right across the bridge from Louisville, where I grew up at. And, Southern Indiana's been where I've lived for, the better part of the last 6-7 years. So to be able to win it in front of so many people that I know, so many people who had followed me for so long, and then, my daughter, the fact that she was there, the fact that, Sean P's family was there, the fact that, my now girlfriend, was there and were able to experience all this with me, the fact that, I was there, like, Paradigm has given me some incredible fucking moments. Of course, she's right there. All right, so my daughter's been going to wrestling shows her whole life.
Yeah.
She was born on a Sunday. She came home from the hospital on a Wednesday. I had a fair show in Liberty, Kentucky that Friday. And so, like, we took her, to that show. Yeah. So the first thing she ever saw outside of a hospital or her own bedroom was a wrestling ring, man. And she's been in love with it ever since. She loves going to the show. She loves when she gets to get in the ring. She got a mean drop kick.
Nice.
She'll hit them ropes and pow. She'll shoot her, man. She'll get you.
That's right. And also, it's creating good memories for her.
Oh, yeah.
Because that's what it's all about, is creating memories for the kids.
Ariel will go to a wrestling show, and she'll be the smallest one there and absolutely be the loudest one there.
That's right. That's the way it is.
It's awesome. I love when I get to take her.
And that's a special moment, too, putting the towel around her.
Dude, absolutely. Absolutely.
That's one of the reasons why I don't know if Paradigm is gone or not.
On hiatus, it still ain't gone. And that's the thing. Well, and that's the thing. I'm still holding the title. I've represented the heavy hitters title even outside of Paradigm sanctioned shows.
Nice.
The heavy hitters title has been defended in Ohio, Indiana, Kentucky, Illinois, Tennessee, New Mexico, and while it wasn't defended, it made the flight internationally to Santo Domingo.
And what people need to understand, that even though it's on hiatus, it's not gone.
Nah.
They're just on hiatus.
Yeah, nah. Paradigm ain't went nowhere.
Because it shocked me because we were at the heavy hitters tournament when he won. Because when I saw the announcement that they were going hiatus, I was like, oh man, because I want to go to more Paradigm shows. Because after experiencing that first one, we were hooked.
Oh yeah. Paradigm's special, man. And that's another, I'm not going to talk about it in past tense like it's not a thing. I'm not going to say Paradigm was special. Like, nah. Like you said, it might be on hiatus right now. Paradigm is special. Paradigm is great.
That's right.
It ain't went nowhere.
And you're defending that title because that title is still around. That title ain't gone. Exactly. That title is still an active championship.
Exactly. I defended it 2 weeks ago.
Nice.
2 weeks ago. No holds barred match in Illinois.
And that's further proof that Paradigm's still around because Omega is a fighting champion. He will defend it anywhere, anytime, any place.
Exactly. Send me your best. I'll knock their ass out.
Justin said, yo, did you talk about the Turtles B-Day party on the last one? That's Justin for you.
The last show it wasn't the last show. It was one of the first shows of that year, COVID year, 2020. Yep. In January, the weekend of my birthday, took a carload of people.
Yeah.
Including one, Justin Hickerson, to a promotion in North Carolina.
Yeah.
And, we went and wrestled, for the show in North Carolina. And it was really interesting experience because, like, I'd cold contacted the promoter, like, 4 or 5 months, beforehand, had expressed interest in coming to work for him. He was like, all right, cool. Yeah, if you want to put together a carload, we'll bring you out. And, they took really good care of us. We got a rental car. They paid for the hotel. We had catered lunches while we were there. We got paid on top of, everything else. It was a hell of an experience. Good little crowd. It's probably solid 200 people, in the crowd. It was a solid show, solid crowd. And when we're there, we showed up early, and we hear somebody talking about how the show was going to also be a birthday show. It was like, oh, okay, yeah, wrestling birthday show. I've done a couple of those. I've done shows where somebody came to celebrate their birthday, but I've also done shows that were specifically put on for somebody's birthday. So we're like, oh, okay, yeah, birthday show. Awesome. And then we heard somebody say something about turtles. And they're like, it's Turtle's birthday. And we're thinking that, it's somebody named Turtle, that that's a nickname. It's like, oh, yeah, it's Turtle's birthday. They meant actual turtles.
Oh.
There were 200 people at a wrestling show that was being run to celebrate two turtles' birthday. You look in the front row, there was a VIP section with a table that had 2 box turtles on it.
Whew.
We were wrestling at a turtles' birthday party. I may never make it to the ECW arena. I may never make it to Madison Square Garden.
Yep.
May never make it to WrestleMania. But by God, I made it to a Turtles birthday party.
That's right.
Ain't too many people who's ever going to claim that one.
That's right. And hey, the Turtles got to have an enjoyment of professional wrestling. That's something that you can't take away from that.
The fact that that's even a sentence that I can say out loud, man, I wrestled at a Turtles birthday party. That's insane.
Yes, it is. But hey, professional wrestling takes you to all sorts of places.
Man.
If you just don't understand, professional wrestling is the only place that can bring everyone together as well.
Right.
No other sport has that ability. Professional wrestling is where people can come together and they don't got to worry about being judged for liking it.
The diversity of professional wrestling fans really is uncanny. You see so many different types of people that, some sort of look like, or some seem like stereotypical wrestling fans. Some, you honestly say, you're like, holy crap, I would have never thought of you being a wrestling fan. Young, old, black, white, gay, straight, wrestling really does cover the entire spectrum of humanity. And to me, that's such a cool thing.
Exactly. And that's the only sport that does that.
Exactly.
You won't find that inside football. You won't find that in basketball or hockey. Wrestling is the art that I love so much. And I know that people like to rag on it that aren't wrestling fans. They'll be like, you watch that fake crack. And I'm just like,
it's not real, right? The same people that'll watch, Keeping Up with the Kardashians and Real Housewives of Hollywood and all the rest of this mess.
Exactly.
Being a teenager and, being a wrestling fan, the people that watch Jersey Shore.
Yeah.
That were then looking at me, wrestling's not real, right? Okay.
What about y'all's movies that y'all watch?
And his real name's Mike the Situation.
Yeah.
Her real name's Snooki.
That's right.
Talk to me about that mess.
And also, when they say the F word, they don't understand. Try getting hit at full force. Try having someone run at you, and you have to take that full force. There's nothing fake about that.
Man, I have wrestled. I've done amateur freestyle wrestling. I've done MMA. I've played basketball. I've boxed. I've competed in combat sports before. I've power lifted. I've done strongman training. I have never seen the kind of injuries in my life that come out of pro wrestling. I've seen people do more damage to themselves by a quote unquote fake event than I have genuine combat endeavors that I've done. I made it through my experience in MMA without a single serious injury. I once popped my arm out of socket, and literally they did right back in. pro wrestling. The last match that I had before COVID shut down, I finished that match with a concussion, a torn labrum, and like 3 bruised ribs.
Oh man!
Like I for it being, this baloney, bullshit, fake, whatever endeavor. Tell it to the people who can't fucking, get out of bed without a 20-minute head start. Tell it to these vets that, can't that their knees don't work. They can't fucking, turn their head to parallel part.
That's right. Because
tell Draws how fake wrestling was.
Exactly. Because Draws was paralyzed from a slip up.
When you use the F word, absolutely spit on the pain and the torment that anybody who has ever stepped into a ring has had to endure.
Exactly.
You spit on the legacy of men like Mick Foley.
Yep.
You spit on the legacy of men like Draws. You spit on wrestling's fake. I'm pretty sure what happened to Owen Hart wasn't.
That's right.
Horrible, horrible, horrible things
that
happen to people in a wrestling ring. Like, you use that F word, you invalidate everything that person went through.
That's right. And look at Raw when Liv Morgan injured her shoulder off of a basic try to protect yourself. Exactly. That happens. People gotta understand in wrestling, unlike other sports, it's high octane. So one mishap, one seemingly innocent moment could do that to you. I mean, look at Zoe Starks. Her finisher, she ended up injuring her leg because of it.
One of my OGs, one of my original trainers, Simon says, I was like on the outside of the ring, not even 5 feet away. He took a Hurricane Rana off the top rope, came down wrong, broke his neck, and we did not think he was getting back up. We didn't think he was going to be able to walk. Like, it looked like something that should have absolutely paralyzed him, and he was never able to get back in the ring after that. I can't get behind that for you.
And like I tell him, it's not ballet. Wrestling has never been ballet. Things can happen like that. You can suffer injuries from seemingly innocent things too. Exactly. Not just moves. Like Liv Morgan's injury, that was just her protecting herself, and that popped her shoulder out, dislocates it. Things like that happen.
Exactly.
I love professional wrestling with all my heart, and that's why when I hear someone try to use the F word, there are times where I do get heated. And at first I just want to go off on the person because they're saying the F word because they think that they're somehow smarter than me. And also they think that by saying the F word that they've somehow made professional wrestling not mean anything. I dare them to get inside the ring and run those ropes and tell me if they don't feel any rope burns. I dare them to take a bump. All they have to do is do a flat back bump. Just jump and slam their back into the ground and tell me that they ain't going to feel that pain, because that is not a trampoline. That is boards that you're dropping down onto.
Yeah. And at this point in life, honestly, I don't even give it the validation, because it's literally like it's that kid in school who's not getting enough attention, so they got to say something loud and outrageous, hoping that, all of a sudden they become the center of attention. Yeah.
That's exactly it.
Wrestling's not real, right?
That's exactly it.
And then keep right on with whatever I'm doing.
That's exactly it.
I got time for this.
Justin said, that Simon Says bump was rough.
Man, Ed, it was disgusting, man.
Hey.
It's one of them things that made my stomach hurt.
Justin also said, fun fact, I won my first title from Shane Mercer while fully unconscious. Hey. That's also what we just saw Jordan Cage do. Omega had him inside the guillotine choke and was minutes away from winning had the referee been awake. But then a certain Bobby Blade had to go and knock him out with a chain. And then Jordan Cage just falls on top of an unconscious Omega. And the referee has no choice but to count because he doesn't know what happened.
Right.
Even though he just sent Bobby Blade to the back. Right. And freaking Ben Sheeran wants to come out and wants to brag about it. They know what they were planning. It was all just a carefully concocted plan.
I would love to fight Ben Sheeran. I feel like that'd be a lot of fun.
Yes.
Ben, if you're listening, we should fight one day.
I think that should definitely be a stipulation as well. 5 minutes alone with Ben Sheeran if you win a match against Jordan Cage.
Oh, that'd be great, man. That'd be fun.
Imagine that with Bobby Blade as well, because Bobby Blade cost you. So 5 minutes alone with Bobby Blade if you get the victory over Jordan Cage. Bobby Blade, I just want you to know, brother, you kind of walked yourself into that one.
I wish I would have been around in the Bobby Blade era.
Yeah, because
I feel like me and Bobby could have had some bangers together.
I do too, because Bobby's got that blade cutter that he hits.
Yeah.
They say that was actually, the move to watch out for Omega is his running attack off the apron. He hits you with that elbow drop, and it don't get you where you think it would. It gets you right inside his sternum area. And he'll say, my elbow drop wasn't that painful. Well, every MWA guy that we've had inside here, they all simultaneously agree, I will not take another fucking Bobby Blade elbow drop.
It's always funny. Anytime, Pops used to do this leg drop from the second rope. He get you down, boom, he climb up. Climb up, second rope, and he'd come over with this leg drop. And he'd talk about people being afraid, to get leg drop on him. He's like, I don't understand why everybody, is so afraid of the leg drop. And one day I just looked at him. I was like, you don't understand?
Yeah.
Sir, you don't understand. It was the very first time it happened to me. That was one of the scariest experiences of my entire life. I'm laying on the ground. I watch him climb up one rope. I watch him climb up the second rope. He starts doing this little jig with his knees, and I'm like, holy hell. He jumped. I closed my eyes and I saw life pass by me in slow motion. That was what you see this man come flying from the corner, and it's terrifying. It's terrifying.
Oh, it is.
He's like, I don't understand why everybody's so scared. Man, you don't, Pops. Really? You don't? You don't?
He hit you with that leg drop after you were scared.
Shoot.
What he needs to understand is that that's a pretty big guy that you're watching climb that many rope. And he's doing that shucking and jiving on the ropes before he jumps off. Ooh.
Victor Bruiser is not no small man.
That's right.
Victor Bruiser is a small truck. He is not a small man.
He will take your head off if you're not careful.
Again, part of the reason that I am who I am was early wars, early on with Victor Bruiser. You survive that. The hell is any other man gonna bring
exactly
you, man?
Exactly, because Victor Bruiser, that's no easy feat against him, because Vic, he's a dominant force, and even though he retired, you best believe that if he had it inside his mind that he could still do this, he'd come back in a heartbeat, and there ain't nobody that could walk through Victor Bruiser.
Facing Victor Bruiser isn't about winning; it's about surviving.
Yes,
it is. You gotta go. You gotta go into the same. If you're going to a match with Vic, you gotta go in with the same mentality as facing a bear. You're not trying to you're not trying to beat the bear. You're trying to survive. Whatever you have to do to make sure that you come out against that bear alive is what you're gonna do. Vic's the exact same way.
That's
you're
right.
You're not trying to beat Vic. You're trying to survive against Vic.
Justin,
do what you gotta do.
Justin said, have you seen the size of that man's thighs?
Man.
Ooh.
It's I talked earlier about, Larry having legs like tree trunks. If Larry's legs are tree trunks, I mean, Vic's got redwoods, man. It's Vic's legs, his arms, everything. It's a stout man.
That's right. That's a mountain of a man.
Stout human being.
He said being trained by Cash Flow was like that. All parts of him are big. And he would just say, it's an easy thing to take.
Man, Justin would talk about getting his ass whooped by Cash, when he was breaking in, man. Which, again, though, Cash is one of them guys that if you being able to learn early on from people like Vic, from people like Cash, it's incredible. It's not only an incredible learning experience and incredible introduction, but again, it's one of those things you get so established, in what you do at this level against somebody like this. can face any, you hold your own against anybody in the world.
That's right.
You start off, having to survive people like Vic, having to survive people like Cash. Man, ain't a damn thing anybody can do to you that you ain't prepared for at that point.
Exactly. Plus, Cash has that chop slot. When you take that challenge, he chops the hell out of you.
I was about a year or two in, and I saw Cash chop Teddy King one time, and I swear to God, I watched his soul leave his body for a second. Like Teddy King went this way in this mist of what looked like his soul went that way. And I never saw the two come back together.
Oh, no.
Like, it just did. Teddy King's body stayed this way, and his soul stayed this way.
His soul decided, I ain't dealing up with that no more.
Man.
You can deal with it.
The Vic's chops, Cash's chops, Tuffy.
Yes.
Tough,
hey,
man.
I took Tuffy's chop a couple months ago. Yeah.
I was in a 6. The fact that you're still here, sitting right now, alive, is a slight miracle. Because man.
And I took his son, Tuffy Jr. Their chop is on par right now.
Man, I was in a 6-man tag match one time back in the KPW days. And it was me, Jake Braddock, and I don't even remember our third man's name, against Tuffy, Cody Matthews, and Bobby Doss. And
badass team.
And whoever our third man was, besides me and Jake, things were not going well for him. And they went from not going well to, supremely worse, because there was some kind of breakdown, and brother just decided that he didn't want to pay attention no more. And he just wasn't and Tuffy puts him in the corner. And you see Tuffy load him back and just
wham!
Blow! And I had never heard anything like that in my life. And he comes like falling out the corner, crawling towards where me and Jake are in the corner, trying to make a tag. Tuffy grabs him by the neck, looks at us, and says, no. And me and Jake jumped off the corner. It's like, nope. Hey, look, that ass woman's got you on there, buddy. That ain't got nothing to do with me. You have fun with that.
That's right.
And he loads him back again. Wow. I never saw that guy after that day. I don't know if he quit wrestling. I don't know if he quit life. I never saw him again after that.
That's right.
Man, that shit.
First rule wrestling, you do not disrespect someone like that. Because as soon as you do, it might be a guy like Tuffy, and Tuffy ain't going to let you live it down. He's going to make sure that you know full force.
Tuffy's hands. I used to joke with him that I feel like Tuffy could change the lug nuts on cars barehanded. Everybody, go get the torque wrench. Nah, man, go get Tuffy. Tuffy just sit there, change lug nuts barehanded.
I guarantee that he could, because after I took the chop, man, he still got it. He tried saying, I ain't chopped nobody in a couple years. I was like, no, get your ass over here and you chop me too, because I already had Tuffy Jr. chop me. I already had Austin Diamond chop me. I want Tuffy, the man who chopped Sean Johns, who Sean Johns is always talking about. I said, I want you to chop me next. So he said, which shoulder? I said, I want you to chop me right here. So he did what Braxton did, because this is a Tuffy classic. He licks his hand and then chops you real good.
Man, one of the worst I ever got, a homie of mine down in Tennessee, my homie Bam Bam Bundy. He got me with a two-handed overhand one time, and
and that's a badass name too that he's got.
Man, Bundy came through with both hands. Blow! And he hit here, and somehow I felt it here. Like it went straight through my chest, through my back, and I was in the mat before I realized it.
It was like a shotgun blast.
Man, that's exactly what it was. It was like I got hit by a Volkswagen Beetle.
Chops are some of the strongest moves to take.
Oh, man.
I dare anyone that hasn't taken a chop to do it. There's people that will get actively scared to take a chop after they've seen it.
Man.
But hey, once you get past that, you can at least take a few more. All I'm saying is get inside the ring and take a chop.
I remember when I was going through training, when we did chop class for the first time, they loaded all the rookies back into the corners, and the more established guys would take turns chopping them. It's like, you got to know what this feels like. So, one guy chops, next guy chops, next guy chops. My next rookie in the corner. First guy chops, second guy chops, third guy chops. And it got to me, and they, first guy chopped me, boom. Okay. Second guy chopped me, boom. Okay. Third guy chopped me, boom. All right. But then we had to learn how to chop too. So it's like, okay, so it's our turn now, right? They're like, yeah. So I put the first guy in the corner, one of the more established guys. They who just chopped me. I put him in the corner. I load back. Blow! He comes out the corner. He's like, all right, look, Omega's got it. I don't think we need to do it. It's like, no. All three of y'all got somebody else get through there. So I go through the three of them. And that was the last time we did chop class. It's like, all right, we think Omega's got it. He's got that part down. We ain't got to go back through that lesson no more.
Exactly. Because you're showing that you could do it.
Oh, Lord, look who's watching.
Joe, I ain't going to tell you no more. Give Johnny his Listen, brother. My name is Superfly Johnny Lee. Joe is on vacation in Colorado right now with the Red Rocks. Justin said, Austin Diamond chopping someone is like my 10-month-old daughter flicking you in the head. Well, to be fair, he tried. Tuffy Jr. on her end, he's on par with his dad. That's the way I see it, because he had a pretty good one. And that was his his second chop, because I allowed Sean to take the first chop.
Man, I'll tell you what, though. Party Man Cam has done, I think, an incredible job with a microphone here over the past couple of months. He's made an awesome host. He's made an awesome, I think he's done commentary a couple times. He's ring announced a couple times. Party Man Cam has really owned that role here for a little bit.
That's right.
It's been a good fit for him. Shout out to Cam for that.
Shout out to you, Party Man Cam, for that. And Big Beard Dudley said, "What's up, guys? What's up, Joe?" Amelia said, "At some point in this lifetime, I will experience a chop from Omega." Oh, no.
Johnny, women are truly unhinged creatures.
Yeah.
And I cannot convince her that this is bad. No, you don't. Stop doing this to me. No, you don't. Everybody has tried to warn you. Savion's tried to warn you. Chris tried to warn you. Everybody's telling you the same thing, except it is the answer. Don't do this to me.
Yes.
Don't make me do this to you. No. Read my lip. No.
Yeah, because you don't want to chop. Trust me, not from Omega.
I tell you what, she is one of the toughest women I've ever met in my entire life. And she's determined. Like she really, she's like, no, it'll be fine. I just really want to know what it feels like. No, you don't. Yes, I do. Yes, I really want to know what I'm saying. No, you don't. Yes, I do. I play him. You say so.
She's going to keep on pushing you to do it.
Women are unhinged.
Yes.
And mine is the most unhinged of the unhinged.
Parman Cam said, "Thank you, Omega, and I will never forget the chop you gave me in the 2024 EWA Rumble Royale. I was bleeding a little bit, but it's worth it." Hey, some chops are like that, though. They will draw blood.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of people don't understand. When you chop, sometimes there's just a moment where your chest's going to be a clairvoyant of crimson red. And that's some of the strongest chops that you're going to take.
I chopped somebody one time years ago, and I think he was like breathing in at the same time, and it took the wind out of his body. I accidentally knocked Adrian Alexander out like at one time.
Oh.
I clotheslined Adrian one time, and I think he had taken a breath in at the exact same time that I hit him. And I'm thinking, like, I turn around, he's still on the ground. I'm like, no, okay, he's fine. And then all of a sudden I hear snoring. And I was like, oh my God, get up. Everybody's like, man, get up. He looks up, he's like, what happened? I was like, I don't know. You tell me. He was like, I think I breathed in when you hit me. It's like, oh.
Yep, big mistake to do.
Man, knocked him out cold.
And we got the picture of him being chopped by James Kendrick.
That's a good picture.
It is.
I think Crystal submitted that, like, for the state fair that year, and she actually ended up, like, ribboning for it.
She did?
Yeah.
And she gave it to us to put right here, so that when Adrian comes in, that's the first thing that he'll notice. So I put it right there behind me.
Adrian was the first person that I ever gave the bicycle kick to.
Nice.
Like, it was, we were to show up in Ohio, and I was like, hey, for the finish, I'm just going to kick you in the head. Nice we kicking him in the head. And he's like, all right. And he went out there and did it. And, like, when I hit him, the people in the front row screamed. And I was like, yep, we're keeping this. Like, that's the one.
That's because that's a beautiful looking move. When you do it, you believe that man just got his head kicked off to the stands.
Man, and Adrian looked dead. Like, I hit him with that kick, and I mean, he looked dead.
Oh, he did. Part of the man said, heck, it was my birthday that day. Justin said, much better announcer and show host than he is a wrestler. Love you, Cam. But I will say that Cam's decent inside the ring. But yeah, his part of man showmanship, it shows out.
Cam's a showman. I mean, even outside of wrestling, you listen to him sing, you watch him dance. Cam's a hell of a showman. Like, he's a hell of a showman, and he's a hell of an entertainer. So he conducts himself in front of a camera and with a microphone extremely well. And I've watched him do some, wrestling training, and he's been doing very well with his wrestling training. But, man, Cam's an entertaining somebody.
That's right.
He's one of them people that will absolutely find a place in this business one way or another, because the man's entertaining.
That's right. He'll find some way to make it work, no matter what you give him, which is something that all wrestlers should be able to do, because even if you don't like the gimmick that you're given, you can make that 100% work with the crowd, because the crowd they will tear you apart if they don't believe what you're selling. But if you believe that you're selling it, and you put it out there to them 100, the crowd's going to gravitate to you. They do Parman Cam because he puts his all into the gimmick that he is right now.
People are scared to go out and perform.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's stage fright. I don't know if it's just like failure to launch, but you get so many people who will not just commit to whoever they are or whatever they're doing. And for a lot of people, they're trying to do something that's unnatural to them, you know, so then they get lost in the sauce when it happens. It's not hard for me to go be Omega to my fullest, because I am Omega to my fullest. That guy's just me a little bit louder. But, like, what you see is what you get, man. That's me.
Exactly.
Even the name Omega, that's me. That's my name. I'm not trying to pretend to be something. I'm not trying to be something. I am Omega.
That's right. Because when you got a gimmick that's yours and you are behind it 100%, the fans will love it.
Absolutely.
Like, that's what I like about professional wrestling. There's always a gimmick for everyone. Even if you don't like the gimmick, run with it, because you never know if that gimmick's going to take off. And if it don't, evolve it. Look at Undertaker and them. They evolved their gimmicks. Like, Undertaker started out an undead guy, a Western mortician. Evolved it to a dead man. Evolved it to a Lord of Darkness, a ministry, Satanist. Then to a biker. And then to a hybrid of the biker and the dead man.
I've always loved certain people's ability to adapt, and to change their routine over time so that it didn't get stale or so it didn't get overwhelming, and to, just keep it fresh. Undertaker, always been a classic example of that. Chris Jericho.
Yep.
The fact that he's, 30 years in or some shit like that, and he's still, he still finds ways to make himself relevant. He still finds way to evolve. You got to be able to change. You have to be able to evolve. You cannot. One of High sayings, what brought you to the dance ain't gonna be what keeps you there.
That's right.
You gotta know how to adjust. You gotta know how to, grow, how to evolve, how to change.
Perfect example is Zodiac. Zodiac was a masked wrestler for 25 years, and then at AMW Weekend of Champions, he's the one that made the call for him to finally lose the mask. And that became and birthed the Mad Taylor. He evolved his gimmick.
It was just as shocking to see Zodiac in a ring without a mask as it was as a kid when Kane took his off. Like, I was genuinely as shocked and surprised to see Zodi standing in the ring without a mask as I was to see Kane standing in the ring without a mask.
I was too.
Yeah.
And then he evolved it to having his name now, Michael Zodiac. Because now he's a Mad Taylor. And now he's got that needle as a finish.
Yeah.
And nobody wants to get put to sleep by that. Because you never know what he'll do to you if he puts you out. But he was our first champion, too. Yeah. So I have a lot of respect for him.
Nah, Zody's awesome, man. Zody's another one of those dudes that, especially in the early days, I was very, very fortunate to spend a lot of time learning from. Zody's like, Vic's always been my wrestling dad. You know, Miss Hollywood was always my wrestling mom. Zody's somebody that I consider like a wrestling uncle. You know, Zody, Pondo, Simon Says, Flash Flanagan, like those were my wrestling uncles. You know,
Hell yeah.
If Vic was Pops, he's my uncles, you know.
That's right.
My extended wrestling family tree.
And anytime that you and Zodiac have locked horns has been badass.
Oh, yeah.
I'd love to see you two team up more often because Omega and Michael Zodiac, that's a tag team right there waiting to happen.
We can do damage.
Exactly.
Me and Zodiac will be killers together.
Exactly. Because Zodiac has proven that he can adapt.
Yeah.
Which is what wrestling needs. You need to be able to adapt. Because sometimes what worked back then may not work now. So when you adapt, now the fans are like, oh shit, this guy can really do that.
Well, I mean, beyond that, you got to be able to adapt night to night, town to town. You know, what works in Louisville probably isn't what works, you know, out in eastern Kentucky. What works in Kentucky may not be what works in Florida. What works in Florida may not be what works in New York. And even like night to night, you know, week to week, you may go out and do one thing for the exact, you know, for the same show on this week, and you may come back and try to do the exact same thing the following show. They may not be into it. Exactly. So what do? Just keep on doing whatever it is that they're not into, or do you fucking, you know, adapt and try to change to it?
Exactly. Because you got to find what works in that state.
Exactly.
That's what a lot of wrestlers need to do, because adaptability means that you are adapting on the fly, because if the fans ain't buying what you're selling from that town, but the other town was buying it, you got to adapt to make this town now buy what you're selling.
One of the things that I hate is when, you know, two guys will go out and have a match and there's zero crowd reaction, zero, you know, anything from the audience, and they'll come back, oh, I don't know what happened, man. The crowd was dead. The crowd was dead. I said, like, no, don't blame the crowd. They didn't. Yeah. There's 100, 200 people out there, and you're going to say the crowd was dead? No. You just weren't giving them anything they wanted.
Exactly.
You didn't do anything. You were not listening to your crowd. You did not involve your crowd.
Exactly.
Don't blame it on the crowd because, you know, you don't know how to work because you ain't entertaining. Like, no.
Exactly.
Learn how to adapt. You're doing something that's not getting a reaction. Are you just gonna keep doing that thing, or do you do something else?
Exactly. And if you see the crowd ain't reacting what you're doing, try doing something different. Because if you're throwing a kick and they ain't responding, maybe try giving a little bit of the spinning punch, or maybe a spinning kick that they haven't seen yet. Like whenever I watch a wrestling show and I see every match has the same moves, and then I'm like, that's why the crowd has started to be quiet, because now they're not really seeing anything that's different. And I'm thinking to myself, why are we getting 200 superplexes?
Because you'll have 7 matches, you know, you'll have 7, 8 matches on a show, and nobody's watching the match before theirs. So everybody's going out and doing the exact same match all along because nobody's bothered to pay attention that everybody's laid their match out the same way. Everything's been structured the same way. Everybody used the same moves. Everybody had the same finish. Like nobody's paying attention to the rest of their show. Only their match matters. So you end up getting 8 copy-paste matches over and over and over again.
Which is the wrong way to think, because when you're on a wrestling show, you want your match to stand out. You're not going to want to do what every other match is doing. You're going to be watching those matches and make sure that what you're going to do inside your match isn't already being done by those matches.
Exactly.
Because I remember back then, a wrestler would ask the other wrestlers, hey, man, don't do that because I've already done that inside my spot.
Exactly.
And nowadays, no one does that.
I would ask the other guys, like, hey, especially like the matches around mine, hey, what y'all finish? All right, cool. What y'all finish? All right, bet. So, all right, we're not doing that. We're not doing that. So they don't get the same 3 back to back to back. Hold up. My daughter's about to go to bed. I got to call my daughter real quick.
That's all right, brother.
Oh, that loud. Hi, Shugs.
Hi.
How you doing, sweetie? Good.
Guess what? I bought playground abode.
What's that?
You have to guess.
Oh, is that an axolotl?
Yeah.
That's a big pink axolotl.
Its ears
Its ears
are really fluffy.
are really fluffy. You stay inside where it was nice and cool today?
Yeah.
Good, baby. Good. Hey, out, down. Thank you. Appreciate it. Okay, girl. Hey, Daddy can't talk. Daddy can't talk for very long because Daddy's doing podcasts right now. Remember? I told you Dad had podcast today?
Dad, I want to show you something.
What's that? Hold up. Oh, get Daddy just a second. He'll do it too. Hold up. Let's see. Put that right there.
I'm watching basketball.
You watching basketball?
Yeah.
That's cool. You want to see studio?
Yeah.
Hold up. Daddy will pan it around. See?
Oh, that's cool. Your fever alarm.
There's Johnny. You see? Can you say hi to Johnny?
Hello.
Dad, the fever lost.
The Fever lost.
Yeah.
Did Caitlin Clark not play very good today?
We didn't have her. She's out with injury.
That's just it's a bad day or a bad week for Indiana
Yeah.
Stars. Man,
Like Tyler Holliberry.
I'm
getting
saying
hurt.
like all of Indiana Stars is going down with injuries.
Yeah.
Right now. That's rough.
They are.
I'm saying.
Especially during the playoffs.
Yeah. Dude, when he hit the ground and started tapping, like as this is when you knew it was over.
Yeah.
Brother hit the ground and immediately started tapping out. Like
And the fact that 3 of them all got injured in the same way,
yeah, that's rough.
that was very rough.
All right, sweetie. Daddy's got to get back to the podcast, okay? I'll talk to you later, all right? All right, baby. I love you.
I love you too.
Mwah. Bye-bye, baby.
I have this little toy that I didn't notice that I had for a while. It's a little claw machine. I forgot even.
He's gonna get back. He's gonna get back. Okay.
I didn't know I had it for a while.
That's cool, sweetie. Okay, Daddy's got to get back to it, though, okay?
Well, Justin, Clark is out.
Grandpa's coming home tomorrow.
That's good, sweetie. All right, baby. Daddy's got to run, okay? I love you.
I love you too.
Bye-bye, baby.
Bye-bye.
Congo Kong gave some great advice. He told Justin, change your name, paint your face.
Justin needs something to cover his face.
Yeah.
So face paint ain't a bad idea.
Can't believe that him and Stillwell are best friends, man.
One of them significantly uglier.
I know, right? That's why he wears a mask.
I feel like Justin should tag with Stillwell. Only he should like put a bag over his face.
Yes.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I feel like that'd be a good look for Justin.
It would. It'd be the Justin Wool. That's what they should call themselves.
He kind of look like Son of Havoc. He should put a bag over his face and grow his beard out more, and he would look like Son of Havoc from Lucha Underground, only with a bag instead of a mask. I feel like that would be a great look for Justin.
Yes, it would, because he's got a good beard. You see it all the time. It's growing, so he should grow it out. Put a bag on. There you go, Son of Havoc. But that's the thing. He also said, no, Clark can't be out. That's tough.
Man, it has just been a rough week for Indiana sports.
It has been.
Who's y'all okay?
The
Indiana folk, y'all good.
The fact that they all got injured during the playoffs is what messes me up. And it was all the same injury, too.
Man,
That's tough.
that's tough.
And that led to Oklahoma getting the championship victory.
SGA looked good that series, though.
Yeah.
That was an awesome performance.
I guess you could say this was the year of Oklahoma because this was their first championship. So I got to give my hats off to them. Even though they wasn't the team that you'd be rooting for, they still made it to the playoffs and they still walked away with the victory.
The fact that, the OKC team that had Kevin Durant, Russell Westbrook, James Harden, and Steve Adams together didn't win a title, and this OKC team fought their way to a title. That's commendable.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, Taylor's watching. What's good, Taylor? How you doing, girl?
Heck yeah. We love Taylor.
That's my buddy right there. I love Taylor.
Justin said, not fucking Mad Dog 20. Not Mad Doggy 20.
Yeah, man.
He said, wait.
Good old
who's
Mad
uglier?
Dog, Matt Cross.
Now he wants to know, wait, who's uglier?
You.
It's
Justin.
you, Justin.
100% you.
Everyone knows that Still Wolf's got a good-looking face, but you,
hey,
man, you broke a mirror every time you look in it.
Can't even imagine how handsome it's got to be under Steel Wolf's face.
Exactly.
Yours, sir, yours.
Looking into a mirror, oh, it probably breaks every time you look at it.
That's 50 years bad luck.
Yes, it is. But that's the thing, too, that, you never know when an injury will happen. You could be some of the best 100% healthiest athletes, and that happens.
Oh, yeah.
Like I harken back to what happened to Liv Morgan. She was 100% healthy. Didn't have no problems. And it was at the beginning of the match. Kairi Sane does move. Liv Morgan tries to protect herself. Elbow hits the mat. Dislocates shoulder. It's not Kairi Sane's fault. It's just that shit happens.
I used to go up to Cincinnati a lot, and I would go get ring time up there, and I would work with some of the younger guys and the trainees at a promotion called APW up that way. And whenever I was up for training, I would make them do very, very specific things when they would train. Because we would do training matches and stuff like that, but I would run them through very, very specific situations. So I'd be all right, you and you, you're going to do a 5-minute match. And it was for practice because like you said, things happen. So I'll be you and you're going to do a 5-minute match. The turnbuckle snapped and you can't use the ropes. The ropes are broken. You got to put together a 5-minute match, no ropes. You and you're going to do a 10-minute match. Halfway through your match, a board busted in the middle of the ring. Now there's a hole in the middle of the ring. Can't use the middle of the ring because things happen.
Yep.
I'd tell people, two people to do a match, and I'd tell one of the guys that they were supposed to fake an injury halfway through, but not tell the other person, and see if they could still figure out what it was to do. Because they would always get so butthurt when I do it. Why are we doing this? This is stupid. This is stupid.
It's not
and then
stupid.
The first time you're in a ring and the turnbuckle breaks or a rope snaps or a board pops up and you're like, oh shit, what do I do now? Oh, I remember that one time I made. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, it's always stupid until you actually got to do it for the first time.
And also the person faking the injury, and you have to find out where he's injured at and have to work around that. It's going to help you out. You're going to remember, oh yeah, Omega taught me that.
Exactly.
Because that's valuable knowledge.
Exactly. If your opponent is injured during a match, being able to still make sure that everybody can get safely back to the back and safely get home is an important thing to be able to do. I pride myself in being able to take care of people in the ring. I pride myself in the fact that, we all go back to the back the same way we came out. Even to the extent, and I'll tell people all the time, especially if I'm working with somebody who's, a little younger, a little less experienced, I'll tell them, if you need something, tell me, talk to me. If your head hurts, tell me. If something happened to your leg, tell me. Even if something as simple as, if you get sweat in your eye, let me know. I will, I'll grab a hold, I'll hook you in something. My arms are heavily taped. I'll, clear your eyes out for you.
That's right.
If you need something, tell me. But that ability to communicate, that could be what saves somebody's life, man.
Exactly. Because that's what wrestling's about. Communication. Because you're helping each other avoid injury.
Exactly.
A lot of people don't understand. Wrestling is a very dangerous sport. If you don't know what you're doing, the worst could happen. But if you know what you're doing, both of y'all can help each other.
Speaking of the worst happening, apparently Taylor got some sunburn.
Oh, no. We just recovering from this intense sunburn. Over here, fishing 101, and remember to bring sunscreen. Oh,
girl, how did your ginger ass forget to bring sunscreen? How do you leave the house without sunscreen every day? That needs to be a daily check for you. Walking out the house. All right, I got my phone, got my keys, got my wallet, got my sunscreen. Like, ma'am, what are we doing?
You got to bring your sunscreen because, man.
I'm 4 times darker than you, and I wear sunscreen. How the hell you forget sunscreen? What's wrong with you?
Justin said he's going to have to get his good friend MLC to teach you a lesson to both of us.
Talk to the boyfriend. No, it's your body. How did you forget sunscreen? I'm not going to ask him. That is your responsibility.
Exactly.
You grown. How you forget the sunscreen?
When you go fishing, you got to have the sunscreen because you're going to be out there in the sun and it's going to be burning hot. And you just got to remember, intense sunburn can happen.
You've met Taylor. When she leaves her house, she needs to have sunscreen on.
Yes.
Taylor, like, and don't get me wrong, I'm not ripping on Taylor, like, you deaf girl. But, like, no, Taylor probably needs to wear sunscreen in the wintertime. Like,
yeah.
Taylor has some very fair skin.
That's true.
It's all his fault. No, it's not. Don't you do that.
Come on, Taylor.
Put that on that man.
Don't put that on him
That's
because
shame.
he'll remember that for the rest of his life.
Shame.
You might never know. Your boyfriend might be having a mind thing, and he's like, Did Taylor just blame me for something?
Yo, Pasty.
That's gonna haunt him for years.
Ain't gonna put that on him. That's messed up.
That's gonna haunt that man for years.
Shame.
Being blamed for something they didn't do.
I'm saying, he forgot the sunscreen.
Everyone knows that when you go fishing inside this hot ass sun, sunscreen is a must because summertime is the definite place where it gets the hottest.
Man, plus it's been like 100 degrees all week. Like, I don't
Yeah.
know what the weather's been doing down here, but, like, man, up Louisville, Indiana, like, it's
And
been
here,
like, yeah.
100.
Oh, it's been like real feel between like 100 and 106. Like,
Yeah.
it's been insane.
I've been outside my pool and could feel the fucking burn going on my neck and my back.
I believe it.
And then on your head, too. If I wasn't wearing sunscreen, that would have burnt me up.
I took my daughter to the Florence Aquatic Center up in northern Kentucky last weekend, and this was before the heat wave started. Like it was hot that day, but it was before, like, you know,
Yeah.
the heat wave started.
Yeah.
And like I'm reapplying, you know, sunscreen to her like every 30, 45 minutes. And at one point I had my phone inside of like a duffel bag, like with all
Yeah.
our stuff in it. It got so hot that like my phone shut itself off. Like it like
Ooh.
overheated and shut itself off, like to save the battery. And like even when it finally came back on, it gave me a notification that it was shutting off the data to my phone to help cool the battery off.
Yeah.
It's like, jeez, I never thought about that being a thing, that my phone gets so hot that it might explode.
Yeah. And then this week's just been 100 after 100 after 100. And then we're supposed to get rain tomorrow, too.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking this. Oh yeah, you're telling us it's going to rain, but all you're going to do is give us more damn heat.
Exactly. And I feel like the rain's not even going to like cool it off. Like it's going to be hot rain.
Yeah.
So you're going to walk outside, it's going to be like acid just falling out the sky.
And then the humidity's going to be
That's Austin Diamond's tattoo.
nice. I dig it.
Right? That's a little Courage the Cowardly Dog.
Hey, I like Courage the Cowardly Dog.
Right?
Nothing
She
beats
did a good job with that color blend in it, Austin. That looks good.
Yes.
That looks good.
Yes, she did. And also, King Ramses. Return the Slab. That was my favorite episode of Courage.
It gave me nightmares as a kid, man. Like
Yeah.
it was just so unnatural. Like the animation, his voice, the way he moved, like that was. I don't think Courage the Cowardly Dog gets enough credit for being as fucked up as it actually was.
Yeah,
Like
it was.
There was some genuine like nightmare fuel in that show as a kid.
Exactly. And that King Ramses, I think what the stroke of genius was having King Ramses not even be animated. He's like a 3D out of place character that's moving.
I still think it's crazy that it's even considered like the fact that it's called Courage the Cowardly Dog. Like the fact that Courage was considered cowardly. Like he's not a coward. These are real monsters.
He is.
There are horrible things happening. Like how is he a coward? It's not like he's running from his own shadow or like it's, you know, he thinks it's a monster, but it's
Yep.
actually just a coat rack. No, these are real fucking
Yes, they
monsters.
are.
He's not a coward. Like he's
And
like the
even-
only smart one.
And even if he gets scared and runs at first, you best believe he's going to be throwing hands with these supernatural events.
But even when he runs, is he a coward?
Nope.
if I pull a Glock out right now and you take off running, are you a coward? No, nope. You're smart.
That's right.
He's got monsters and demons and ghosts and he runs. Yeah, he's not a coward. He don't want to die.
Plus, he's got a computer that helps him figure out what he needs to know about the things that he's dealing with.
Man, I just did encourage the cowardly. Taylor's still trying to
listen. It was a very last-minute trip, and he had no sunscreen in the household. Plus, listen, I'm still in the middle of the moving in process. Taylor, you could have stopped and got the sunscreen on a shopping trip. Come on.
Terrible. Absolutely terrible. You do not get a pass on this one, Taylor. You get no passes on this one. Shame on you.
Especially when you're on a trip and you know that there's stores around. You can just stop in real quick and get sunscreen.
Shame.
For shame. That poor man's probably going to be having nightmares tonight because he got blamed.
I had a friend in high school who got moonburn when we went down to Florida.
Oh.
Didn't even know that was a thing until he got it. Like we did. It's one of them things that I don't even think somebody thinks about in life.
Yeah, you don't.
We had went to the beach. And we had went to the beach towards the nighttime, like after the sun already went down.
Yeah.
And like all the parents kept telling us even still, hey, everybody make sure you put sunscreen on, make sure you stay hydrated, blah, blah, blah. Well, like late that night, he started complaining about his body hurting, and he started feeling nauseous. So they took him to the doctor and they found like an ER or whatever. And like the next morning, we're all waiting in the lobby of the hotel. And we get on the bus, and he's sitting there on the bus already. And he's sitting up perfectly straight, like not letting his back touch the seat. Every time I was like, hey, John, you good, man? What happened? And he's wearing a tank top, and we can see how red his back is. I'm like, what the fuck? There was no sun out. Like, what the hell? He was like, the doctors say I have moonburn.
Oh.
We're like, what? He's like, yeah, the doctors say I have moonburn. Apparently, if atmospheric conditions are just perfect for it, the sun can actually reflect UV rays directly off of a full moon.
Yeah.
To where the moon basically becomes this big radiated ball of ultraviolet rays. So he was getting indirect ultraviolet rays from the sun off the moon. And he got burned by the moon.
So we've learned that the sun will find ways to kill you anyways.
Exactly. So wear your damn sunscreen, Taylor.
Exactly, because...
That should come up with any... all right, it's still the same excuses. All right, yeah. Better not be no new excuses.
Exactly.
Not wearing your daggone sunscreen.
But hey, you see that level of Super Mario, where the sun's trying to kill Mario? That's exactly what the sun tries doing to us.
Bruh. Right, it's just angry as hell, just chasing after him. That's what it... Man, the wrestling show that we do at Hog Rock, at the biker rally, it's an outdoor show, and luckily we just missed the heat wave.
Nice.
We were out there 2 weeks ago, and I cannot imagine what it would be like wrestling in this kind of heat. Like, man, I remember when I was still wrestling under the mask. I think when y'all first met me, when I was still wrestling under the mask, I did a fair show, and I was used to doing fair shows.
Yeah.
I was doing fair shows since I first started wrestling. My condition was always good enough that, even with the heat and humidity, whatever, I can still go. I did that first match under the mask, and it was like 90 degrees outside. And the second that match was over and I was out of eyesight, I could not have ripped out of that mask quick enough. Ooh. I took that, it was like getting, when I came out of it and I got like that one first good breath of air, it was like getting hit in the chest with a shot full of adrenaline. I took a mask off.
Yeah.
It's like, oh God, oxygen.
Yeah.
Oh man, it's been a while.
Because wrestling inside a mask and the sun is not a good combination.
Man, when I got to wrestle down in the Dominican, it was outrageously humid. We were indoors, but the air was still very thick, and the air just felt wet. And but I mean, with growing up in the Ohio River Valley, even that wasn't too far of a stretch. So it was whatever. But it was. I remember that building being very humid.
Yeah.
It's an awesome experience, though.
Yeah, it would be.
Oh, dude, it was so cool.
And I remember that you were wearing the mask at Zodiac. Basically, showed you respect.
Oh, yeah.
And gave you a mask. and you wore that mask with pride.
I still have those masks. Like
Nice.
they're still mounted up in my office, nice and clean, nice and prestige. I still carry those masks like very near and dear.
That's what it's all about, because the mask means something.
Absolutely.
Even when Zodiac was wearing a mask, he made sure that the mask looked pristine, clean, and always respected. And even when he was having matches where he's saying, you got to earn to take this mask off me, any mask that he gave the wrestler, it was going to be clean and pristine. That's why Zodiac is one of the best masked men that I've ever met.
Oh, no. Absolutely. Absolutely.
That's why I love luchador wrestling, because luchadors, in their culture, the mask means so much more than what people think. Hell, one of the longest ones that wore his mask before ever showing his face was El Santos.
It's so cool to me that there are legends in Lucha Libre and in Mexican, culture that went their entire lives, their entire professional careers without anybody knowing their real name, without people seeing their actual face. That there are several, Lucha Libre legends that to this day are just known as blank. There's no name, there's no pseudonym, there's no face. Like, they are literally just that. It's like if Spider-Man was never Peter Parker. If Spider-Man was literally just Spider-Man.
That's right.
Like, the fact that they had the ability to do that and maintain something like that is absolutely incredible to me.
Exactly, because...
When were they born? What's their actual name? Nobody knows. Even when they died, we put them in the ground with their mask still on. Like,
that's right.
It's incredible.
And the only one that actually showed his face, but not his name, was El Santos when he's on that news broadcast, because it was a week before he died. He lifted up the mask just like this. And that was the last that you saw what El Santos would look like without his mask. And he put the mask back down. And he was buried in the mask. And he's still considered one of the great... I was watching Coco, and they had El Santos as a skeleton in that movie.
Oh, yeah.
That was badass to me.
He is so deep. I mean, El Santos, Blue Demon, Mil Mascaris, like, they are Silver King, like, they are so deeply ingrained into Mexican culture that it's awesome.
That's right.
Even people that don't necessarily, watch wrestling, they know who El Santos was. They know who Blue Demon is. They know who Mil Mascaris is. Even it's one of those weird things where it's like, even if they don't know, they know. They may not be able to tell you anything about them, but they know.
That's right. And that's one of the things that I love about Lucha Libre. It's a great form of wrestling. Rey Mysterio, Penta, Rey Fenix, Mil Mascaras, Silver King, or Ramses, as he was known in Nacho King, or Nacho Libre. All those guys are why the beauty of Lucha Libre still runs rampant. People just don't understand. Once you get that first flavor of Lucha Libre, you love it.
Oh, yeah.
I remember growing up watching Chavo Guerrero, Eddie Guerrero, Rey Mysterio, Dean Malenko, several other masked wrestlers like Mil Mascaras, La Parca, Juvie before he took off his mask, Psychosis. All these guys were bringing, a different flavor on WCW. That's one of the first times where I saw Cruiserweight wrestling, and it was Lucha Libre.
It's honestly the only reason I watched WCW back in the day. Because, I mean, like, I typically, and I think, anybody who's ever seen me wrestle can tell the kind of wrestling, that I like. I was always more of a fan of, more legitimate looking, hard hitting smash mouth, the Tazes and the Kurt Angles and the Chris Benoits of the world. Like, I loved those kind of matches. But like WCW, I only watch because of the Cruiserweight division. Because, the matches with like Rey Mysterio, Psychosis, Hoovy, Super Crazy, this were incredible, man.
That's right.
Like WCW really understood. We give that Cruiserweight division a ton of credit now. I don't think it was truly appreciated for what it was back then.
That's
like
right.
it just wasn't. We want to look back on it, you know, with rose-colored glasses. You know, oh, WCW did so much to highlight, you know, smaller guys in the cruiserweight division in this new style, but it wasn't. It wasn't highlighted. Like they did it, and they killed the opportunity that they were given, and everybody at the top just kind of looked at it like, yeah, okay, buddy, you don't keep doing that thing over there.
Yeah.
But like, no, it was incredible. Like it was like the best thing going in WCW at the time.
Exactly.
In terms of your actual in-ring product, like, yeah,
'Cause
they
you
had the NWO, and that was cool or whatever, but in terms of your actual, like, in-ring matches, Rey Mysterio and Hoovy and Psychosis and them dudes
That's
was killing
right.
it.
And Ultimo Dragon,
Oh, yeah.
when he was facing Rey Mysterio, that was a badass match. They were killing it compared to NWO. Because remember, NWO ran its course. It kept on overstaying its welcome. But the Cruiserweights, they did not overstay their welcome. They were putting in the work. Day in, day out, every time. Rey Mysterio, Eddie Guerrero, Chavo Guerrero, all those guys, they were putting in the work and killing it. Every time.
Rey Mysterio, Eddie Guerrero, Halloween Havoc is like a top 10 match of all time in my book.
Oh, it is.
Like that was a masterclass.
That's one of my favorite matches of all time because
Oh, yeah.
you had the story going in. Eddie Guerrero wanted to rip his mask off. He was just beating the hell out of this guy, just turning their eyes open. And all you see of Rey Mysterio's face is that you only got this little part of his eye that's ripped open. You can see his head, yeah. But you don't see what Rey Mysterio looks like. All you have is that eye and that forehead. And they just keep on and on. Eddie Guerrero's just working, is trying to get that mask off. That was a hell of a story to tell because you had evil versus good right there. Man, that was great wrestling.
Eddie was incredible, man.
He was.
Eddie was absolute. It is heartbreak. I mean, obviously, what happened to Eddie's heartbreaking in general. Like I remember as a kid crying, like, you know, when they had announced the news that Eddie had, you know, died. But like, if you think about how well certain guys have evolved to stay relevant, you know, and are still able to mix it up, like with the current landscape of wrestling. When you think about like what, you know, Rey Mysterio and Chris Jericho are still able to do at this point, can you imagine what Eddie Guerrero would have been able to do with this current wrestling landscape? You know, Eddie Guerrero versus a Will Ospreay. You know, Eddie Guerrero versus the Young Bucks. You know, Eddie Guerrero versus Kenny Omega.
And
Eddie Guerrero versus Pentagon. Like, Eddie Guerrero versus Rey Fenix. Like, these would have been
generational.
Insanely good matches.
They would have. Brandon Doss said, Omega, miss you, brother. Glad to see you killing it, man.
Big Brandon Doss. Miss you too, man. I hope everything's going well.
Johnny Limone said, hey, Omega.
What's good, Johnny? How you doing, man?
But that's the thing about Eddie Guerrero. Eddie Guerrero was a generational talent. When he won his first WWE World Championship, I had tears in my eyes because he'd been told that he wouldn't have amounted to being a world champion.
I remember that promo that he did with Brock Lesnar leading up to it, you know, that you could feel Eddie's soul in that promo. And I think I watched it back a few months ago, and I think there were parts of it that even like broke Brock. Like I think there were parts of it that like choked Brock up because he knew that it was coming from a very real place. He was like, yes, I am a fuck up. I am an addict. I'm not supposed to be here right now. But you know what? I am. I have fought my entire life for everything that I have and for everything that I've done. So if you think that I'm going to waste this fucking opportunity, you out of your mind. Like it. You could feel every single ounce of Eddie's soul coming through that.
That's right.
That was incredible, man.
That was the promo that sold me on it because he was right. Before that, he'd been fired from WWE because of his drug addictions. He fought his demons, and he clawed his way back. And there he was standing across from the WWE champion at the time, letting him know, yeah, you can call me whatever you want. You can call me a fuck up. Yeah, you can call me stupid. You can call me anything. But the one thing you cannot call me is a coward. Because I'm going to walk into No Mercy, and I'm going to take that title from you.
I have so much respect for people who are able to genuinely overcome the people they were, strive to do something better. And I mean, it's repentance without change is absolutely worthless.
Yeah.
You know, it's like when people say the best apology is change behavior. You know, there's a lot of people who apologize for the things they've done, and there's zero change in what they've done. There's zero accountability. There's zero change. But when people actually take the steps to become better versions of who they've ever been, like, to me, one of the greatest stories in like humanity of the last 30, 40 years is Mike Tyson.
Yep.
Mike Tyson is somebody who, I mean, was a fucking demon. And we're not even talking about boxing. Like, Mike Tyson was an objectively horrible person.
Yeah.
You know, we know about the aggression. We know about, you know, the legal troubles. We know about, you know, the abuse allegations. Like, Mike Tyson was an objectively horrible person who took accountability for who he was on the inside, and he actually sought medical treatment. He went through rehab. He went through therapy. He actually started doing things to become a better person.
That's right.
And I remember there's a YouTube channel, podcast that I keep that I watch, Drink Champs, you know, with Noriega. Tyson was on a live Drink Champs episode that they did out in Vegas, and you know, Nori and a bunch of other guys on the show kept talking about Mike being the greatest, you know, the greatest fighter of all time, the greatest, great. And about 10 minutes in, Tyson finally was like, "Yeah, stop calling me great. I'm not great. I don't even want to be great." And they're like, "Man, what do you mean? Mike Tyson, you the greatest." Like, "No, man. I've been great for too long. I don't want to be great." And they're like, "What, Mike, what do you mean?" He was like, "I know too many people who are great, but they're not good." He was like, "I know a lot of people who are great people, who are great fighters, who are great whatever, but they're not good people." It's like, "I don't want to be great anymore. I want to be good. I've never been good. I want to be good." And that one sentence like framed a completely different mentality to me, because he was right. Some of the greatest people in the world were horrible fucking people.
Yep.
So he's like, "I don't want to be great. I just want to be good. I want to, for the first time in my life, I want to be a good person." I know lots of great fighters. I know lots of great wrestlers, great business people who are horrible fucking people.
Yep.
It's like, man, and I get that. It's like, yo, I want to be good. I want to be a good person. I want to be a good boyfriend. I want to be a good dad. You know, being a great wrestler when I was doing MMA, being a great fighter, like, you know, it's none of that means anything if at the end of the day I'm not a good person.
Exactly.
I don't want to be remembered as a great wrestler. I want to be remembered as being a good dude. I want to be remembered as being a good friend. I want to be remembered as being a good dad.
Exactly.
It's more to me than anything in wrestling ever fucking could.
Exactly. Because you can be called great. You can be treated like you're great. But if you're not a good person, that don't mean shit. It means that you're using that because you think that you're something special. But in reality, the good man is the one that's something special. You're just borrowing the greatness name. And Mike Tyson was a philosopher and saying that he wanted to be good, not great.
Right.
And I identify with that. Because that's what I'm about. I don't want to be known as a great podcaster. I want to be known as a good man. Because when I bring wrestlers on, I'm not trying to be an asshole that will ask them and invade their private lives or personal lives. I just want to be a good man that interviews with them one-on-one and give the people out there some clue of who they are as people. Because I'll give those people out there that's watching a new identity that they can view you through. Because they know you as Omega, the badass. But now they're seeing Omega, the good man, the good father, because you allowed them to see you have a good relationship with your daughter. And also, your girlfriend is tuning in. You have a good relationship with her. That proves right there, Omega's a good man. And that's what it's all about.
When I get to the end of the road of this wrestling shit, I don't want my matches to be the first thing that people that knew me through wrestling remember about me. I don't want, you know, the pit bull to be what they remember. I don't want my chops to be what they remember. I would hope that at some point a conversation that we've had, a memory that we shared, something that we've done together is what's remembered about me, and not just my one of Isaiah's sensei, Isaiah's, teacher and mentor, the American kickboxer, those of us who are fortunate enough to know him and spend time with him, call him Uncle Frank. A scroll that he often drops, awesome nugget that he often drops is, whenever he talks about, men that he's, worked with and that, been under his tutelage, he says, if all I ever taught you was how to be a great wrestler, he's like, if all I ever taught you was, wrestling, I have done you a great disservice. He's like, if we spend time together and the only thing you learned from me was how to be a great wrestler, I have done you a disservice.
That's right.
I don't want to be remembered as a great wrestler. Like I do not want what I did in the ring to ultimately be what defines me and what people remember me as and what people remember me for, and for a lot of people that I hold the closest in this business, those aren't my first memories of them. Vic, when I think about Vic the Bruiser, my brain doesn't immediately go to the wars that we have had, to me and him beating the hell out of each other, in the ring and in front of the crowd, even as incredible as those memories are. I think of Vic holding my daughter for the first time when she was 5 days old. I think of his laugh whenever he would hear a joke. I think of the look on his face that he would make whenever I would call his attention to certain things, and it was just like it was just too outlandish for him to even react to. And he had this very specific look that he would get. Those are the things I think about when I think about him. The wrestling's secondary to
That's
me.
right.
If that's all I got to contribute to this world, and if that's all people got to remember me by, man, that's a sad existence. Fuck that.
That's right. It's all about building memories with each other. And with that, we've been on here 2 hours.
Man, time flies around this motherfucker, I swear.
It does.
It's like, you know what it is? It's like Vegas. The windows are blacked out. There's no clock. So you don't actually realize, like, how much time's been going on since you got here.
Yeah.
It's wild.
You want to say goodbyes, brother?
Y'all, it's always a pleasure to be here. Always great to be in Lexington. Always great to be in the studio with Johnny and Andy. Andy's not here today. Andy, shout out to you. Always a pleasure to see you. Hope to see you again soon, brother.
That's right.
For those of y'all who's been, rocking it out with us, tonight, appreciate you. Appreciate y'all spending some time with us. Obviously, feel free to keep up with us on social media. I'm on just about everything at this point.
You?
Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. I don't really know. I don't really keep up with Twitter like that. Like, I finally got one, but
yeah, it's hard to keep up because too much negativity on there.
It is. Jesus Christ. I don't really do Twitter too much. But appreciate the hell out of all the love and support that, we've always been shown. And, again, appreciate y'all spending a little bit of time with us tonight.
That's right. Folks, I want to say thank you to everyone that has commented, everyone that's been here with us, everyone that's been tuning in, even y'all that's been lurking that has not said anything. I appreciate y'all for watching as well, because every watch means something to me. And this is a podcast God just saying, if you're not having fun, you ain't getting none. Damn Skippy. Yeet yeet.
Nice Guy Andy Podcast.
It ain't what your mama said.
Radio.